You want to know one of the ways you can become successful online? It's something you don't hear too many people talk about, but it works, and I'm going to share it with you. And you can follow this advice at a personal or professional level, no matter how small or big your business may be. Now, of course, success is subjective, okay? It is what you want it to be. It could be how many followers you've got, how many impressions you've made online, how much business or leads you've been able to generate because of your strong online presence, ultimately leading to your goal of making money. Now, if you follow this, your friends may look at you like an immature fool, your parents, coworkers, especially your coworkers, but eventually they're going to turn to you, they're going to look at your stuff and wonder how they can also grow online. I've been using social media for many years now. I've always been an early adopter. It basically went from being the love letters that kids would pass to one another in class getting in trouble to now the main way that multi-billion-dollar corporations are connected to those same kids passing those letters who are now all grown up. This is the way they communicate. On a personal level, I have well over 1 million followers across platforms, and the videos I put out on a variety of topics have reached close to 100 million people, something I'm very proud of. But the reason for my growth? A lot of that has to do with being an early adopter. And of course, you're thinking outside the box and all that, but that's subject matter for another video. One of the cool things about being an early adopter is that you get to see that app evolve. Apps are always being updated in the App Store, and you can become a part of a beta program where you're asked to give feedback on features or functions that you would like to see. It's really cool. There's people out there whose primary job is to stay informed and be on top of anything new that might be coming up. Not just social media platforms, also fashion, anything that might blow up. I have hundreds of success stories about how I was able to utilize social media as a police officer in a successful way. And there's many other officers that could do the same. But this is not the video for that. But I do remember, let me use Twitter. I do remember when Twitter first came out and adults, professionals, and major news outlets did not give it the time of day and were calling it a fad used by teenagers and basically a waste of time. And you know who some of those super users were who helped put it on the map, made it big? Teenagers. Those young people. And eventually adults caught on, started using it. Businesses, corporations saw who was online and figured out, okay, this is a whole new way to generate money, a whole new way to advertise to a whole new group. But it was a youth. I was a police officer working in schools at the time, a school resource officer, and I had an account. Everybody had all kinds of different accounts. The youth were all using it. And as I was walking around the school, inside, outside, I was able to monitor because I was watching their Twitter feeds. They were telling one another where the police officer was now. He's walking down this hallway. He's going around this way because they were trying to sell weed and they didn't want to sell weed anywhere where the police officer was. It was amazing to watch and it was quite brilliant. Listen, I got to give him credit. It was brilliant. But of course, the app was infiltrated by adults, businesses, corporations, and the young people moved on. And why wouldn't they? So next was Instagram. There's a few little apps along the way, but next big one was Instagram. And let me tell you, there was a lot of nonsense going on with Instagram at that time. It was not seen as a professional app at all. And I felt a little odd even opening an account. I remember when I tweeted from my official police account that I was opening an Instagram account, a police Instagram account, man, the comments that I got back. Instagram was seen as, a lot of people use it as a hookup app back then, to be honest with you. But part of my job was to connect with the community in new and innovative ways, and this was one of those ways. And we could reach, as police officers, reach a whole new demographic. And Instagram back then, that was not the Instagram of today. It was very archaic. You couldn't just like somebody's comment. If you wanted to mention somebody, you had to go back and find their name and paste it on. It was just a pain. And like everything else, more and more people started getting involved. Adults, professionals, businesses, corporations, and that's the Instagram that we see today. All right, quick story, but it's very relevant as to what we're talking about here. I know a guy who was a fairly early adopter of this one platform in particular, and he posted often, but he had a very high level of engagement, especially in the comment section. People were paying attention. So this gentleman, he was contacted by an outside organization who was developing software for this app that he was using that people would use in their posts. And they were asking him if he would mind using some of this software just to see the reaction from the audience and maybe give some feedback of what's good about it, what's not good about it, everything else. And they were going to pay this person a lot of money to do this. That's just one of the benefits, and it's not uncommon at all. There was a few other apps that came and went along the way. Some of them just fizzled out. A lot of them, if they started gaining traction, they got bought out by the bigger apps. Makes sense. But now let's get to TikTok, the newest, craziest one of all. And I love TikTok. Back then it was called Musical.ly. I had some family members that were using it, and it really, really was a bunch of young people dancing, coming up with cool ways of transitioning and everything else. It was pretty cool. And I got on board. Once it became TikTok, I got on board because the writing was on the wall. And I started an account. I felt like a fool, but I started an account. But you can't deny, it was the young people that made it mainstream and made it cool. And advertisers, businesses, they're not dumb, okay? The writing was on the wall for them as well. They know the power and influence that young people have in terms of marketing. No difference than when I was younger, not even buying CDs, buying tapes at the tape store. The marketing was clearly directed at the young people who would pressure their parents and such. It's kind of business or marketing 101. Again, brilliant. But if I had $1 for every negative comment I heard about TikTok when it first came out, usually by adults on the grown-up sites like Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram, and LinkedIn, where all the professionals hang out who also now have TikTok accounts, I could buy all the hair products I want. The good stuff, right from Europe. People began to realize that you can have a bit of fun out there. It's okay to have a LinkedIn account, a LinkedIn persona, and a TikTok persona. There's nothing wrong with that. Over the past 3 years that I've been using it, it's certainly grown and changed. I mean, when I first logged on, I felt kind of weird about using it. But again, all the young people in my family such that were using it, I saw the writing was on the wall and I opened up an account right away. A police account registered as a police officer. And whether you like it or not, your personal feelings aside, I got some stats here. TikTok has been downloaded more than 4.1 billion times and has over 1 billion active monthly users. If you've spent any time on that app at all, you would have seen every major corporation out there advertising on that app. Like I said, they're not dumb. The writing's on the wall. They know where it's at. And TikTok changed things for everybody. Major platforms were losing users like you wouldn't believe. Instagram Reels, that was their answer to TikTok. YouTube Shorts, that was their answer to TikTok. They had to do something to get the viewers back. Short form entertainment, quick messages, that's where it's at. And every app that I've just mentioned, even TikTok now, how toxic is that app? Was a lot funner, if that's a word, back in the early stages when it first came out. Before it became a bunch of angry people trying to push politics and wanting to debate about every single thing at all. They were very, very fun apps. That's one of the reasons why I started posting to YouTube again and revamped this whole channel. Over the years, I've managed a few different YouTube channels, both in the public sector and the private sector. And in doing so, I kind of let mine go by the wayside, which admittedly was a mistake. So YouTube, at least to me and a few other people, is seen as a more mature platform where you can post some longer form video. Somebody said a few years ago, I don't remember exactly, but those kids with the 10 to 15 second attention span posting the 10 to 15 second long clips are grown up now and they're posting 10 to 15 minute videos. And this is not a guarantee because you have to have personality, you have to be creative, but this has certainly helped me and countless others gain some success online. Pay attention to what the young people are doing and pay attention to what the adults are calling a complete waste of time. Be open-minded and start growing early. So thank you so much for watching this right to the end. I really appreciate you taking the time. And maybe you disagree with what I'm saying. Maybe you have a whole other perspective. And if so, please let me know in the comments. I read every comment, and when it's appropriate, I respond. Once again, folks, I really appreciate you taking the time. So be safe out there, look after one another, and perhaps we will see you again.